and I'm right now in Bali, Indonesia for the program. I believe DSA is inevitable with development intern opportunity at Revolut in their Dubai office. Like J is not probably the best measure of your intelligence, but it is the best way that colleges have to filter out people. So similarly, data sector is not, it can't find out the best programmers or the best developers, but it can kind of help them filter out. Hello everybody. I am Irfan Mohammed from NIT Jalandhar. I'm a third year undergraduate student. First of all, I'm really grateful to have this platform. And if someone could learn something from my experience, I'd be really happy. And thank you, Kushal, for even inviting me over and everything. Really grateful about it.
Yeah. So, Irfan, would you like to share things about like what opportunities you have cracked?
Okay. Yep. I have two really good opportunities at hand right now. The first one is something that I'm doing right now. It is something called as the Apple Developers Academy. It is an international academy where Apple pays you to come to a different country and learn and grow as you develop for their ecosystem. So they want to, fetch good enough people who know Swift and SwiftUI and the iOS ecosystem well enough and to develop apps and software for them. So that is one. And the other one is a fintech startup called Revolut. Revolut is it's a massive company considering that they just started 10 years ago. In 10 years, they went from like zero to $75 billion as far as I know. And I got an iOS development intern opportunity at Revolut in their Dubai office.
Wow,
yeah,
that's
amazing.
That's amazing. So you are not in India right now. You are in where exactly you are?
Okay. So the first opportunity that I was talking about, with God's grace, I got it worked out with college and visa and everything, and I'm right now in Bali, Indonesia, for the program.
That's so cool. Yeah. That's so cool. So we'll jump right on to like how exactly, and you belong to computer science branch or which particular branch?
Okay, in NIT Jalandhar we have like CS as well as IT. I'm in the IT branch, information technology.
So what have you done from first year which has landed you here? What are the gaps that you have identified, considering now people are moving towards using AI for everything? What was your journey from first year, and then how exactly you cracked these opportunities?
If I were to come and tell you that I'm a super duper techie who knows everything, or like I'm the best in campus, I'd be lying. I'd be honest. I can tell you this for sure that I'm not the best even in my campus, let alone India. And but then a lot of things played along the right way at the right time for me, and I'm really thankful for that. And but I also believe that if you want things to play along the right way and the right time, you also have to work accordingly. So from first year, what I was doing is I picked up a niche that not a lot of people pick up in India or in campuses in India. I picked up iOS, that was Swift and SwiftUI, and that was very well from first year. So that in and of itself gave me like 2.5 years of good solid experience with the stack. So I've been developing a few apps here and there, even at hackathons for a few freelance clients, and even like made a few apps of my own and put it onto the App Store. So it was iOS that what I've been doing from first year, and I stuck with it.
Okay. So essentially what you're saying is you picked up a niche that is iOS. Have you did like computer programming, data structures and algorithm? Because every college student is filled with these things that you have to do, data structure, algorithm. Even I share those things because that is it I have done, and that's how things unfolded for me. So were you also bombarded with those learnings, and how you reacted to it?
Perfect. I believe DSA is inevitable because with the current job market, when you have so many people applying for so little opportunities, then it becomes very difficult for companies to evaluate people. Yeah. So data structures becomes, I believe, a good. It's just like JEE. Like JEE is not probably the best measure of your intelligence, but it is the best way that colleges have to filter out people. So similarly, data sector is not, it can't find out the best programmers or the best developers, but it can kind of help them filter out. So for me too, it was inevitable that I had to do data structures, but I didn't limit myself to that, and I didn't only focus on data structures and lead code questions. Because in Revolut, for example, this was something that I was also really shocked to know how there has been a massive shift from a full DSA based hiring. For I don't know, is it because they're a startup or a very fast paced company or not? But in my technical interview, I was asked only iOS based questions. Like I was asked to share my IDE and properly develop something. That they had like 5 things, one after the other. They asked me to develop each of them. So it was not a fully data structure based hiring process. So there is a shift coming coming in, I have to say that. But I too did end up having to do a bit of data structures in the beginning. I was not immune to it.
Got it. And how did you find these opportunities? How did you get these opportunities?
This is going to be a slightly long answer here, but I'll say this is probably the most important part of my story, because the answer is only one thing, and it was networking. It was only networking, apart from skills, because you'll have, particularly in India right now, so many engineers coming out every year, so many developers coming out every year. It becomes very difficult to stand out, and it was very difficult for me too. It was only because of networking. And how networking? For Revolut, for instance, I was on a trip in Beer Billing, Himachal, the beautiful Himachal, and in my hostel I met someone, a random stranger. There was this couple. They were working at Revolut, at this company. So I spoke with them. I had a good interaction. After a few hours, I asked for a referral, and she's not my relative, she's not my family, not my friend. I don't know her. It was just like 2-3 hours of connection, and that referral did help me get the OA link and everything. Getting the OA link was a very difficult part for like international opportunities, but so that networking totally helped. Like knowing how to sell yourself, knowing how to present yourself in that short span of time helped a lot, I'd say.
And what about the Apple opportunity?
Oh, Apple was it had nothing to do with referral or anything. I was just surfing online on like what other Swift developers are doing, because in India, in my campus, for instance, I'm in third year. I'm the only person who does iOS in my year. There's another person who does it in fourth year, who's also very well placed at a US startup. And then there are like 2 other kids coming in from like first and second year. So बहुत कम लोग थे. Like there were really few people who were doing it. So I didn't necessarily get that, ecosystem or like support system in campus. So I was searching for like people outside, joining Discord groups, joining like meeting, texting people on LinkedIn and stuff. So I found this thing on someone's LinkedIn profile, the Apple Developer Academy, Italy or something, intern at Apple Developer Academy. So I just went on searching what that thing is. I texted that person on LinkedIn, and he told me how it's such a cool opportunity where they'll pay you for everything. They'll pay you like to come and and you learn a lot. You'll meet people from around the world, it's been a week here and it's been totally amazing after and not a lot of people from India apply.
Yeah, essentially it's more about how you use online or social media. For example, LinkedIn, you were able to find this opportunity only because you were hitting the right spots, and that's what other people has to do. Like they don't just have to go on Telegram groups and ask about where is the opportunity, where I need to find it. It's you who actually take the torch and look around, and LinkedIn is a great platform to get started. My next question would be, help me in the hiring process of these opportunities. For example, Revolut hiring process, and then hiring process for the Apple Academy.
I'll start with the Apple Academy, which is the one that I'm doing right now. So they have a very creative form of hiring, I'd say, and I really enjoyed it. So the first step is you have to give your CV and a portfolio, basic, like I believe 5 projects that you've done. They have 3 pathways to enter. So it's not only for developers and not only for iOS developers actually. So either you could be a programmer, or you could be a UI UX designer, or you could be a project manager. So there are the 3 pathways. So I went in via the programmer pathway. So again, it's up to you. If you're more into UI UX or something, then that's your way to enter. So you send in your CV and your portfolio with the top 5 projects, and they have a template and stuff. After that, they screen you and give you an OA link. The OA link for me was, I went in once again via the programmer pathway, and it was I would say SQL and OOPS, less of data structures. It was OOPS. Even if you're not well versed with any one particular programming language, but your understanding of how object-oriented systems work, that's fine, because it's less of the syntax and more of the concept. And now after the OA, and I believe it is the OA that filters out most people, after the OA then they move to the interview. Now in the interview there are 2 rounds. The first round is they give you a problem statement. This is what I'm saying, it's creative. They give you a problem statement of a problem that you have to, I can't exactly tell you what my problem statement was and stuff. There is a bit of restrictions on what I can tell you on the entire hiring process, but it's going to be a real life problem that you kinda have to use technology to solve. and you have to give a full-on solution on how you want to solve that problem using I would say that I used Apple ecosystem as my solution for it, but it's totally up to you. And after that, then there is a personal interview where they're reading your CV through and asking you questions based on your CV. So that's how it was for me.
So was there a language barrier throughout the process? You have to use a specific language, or it's more like you're open to use anything, but it has to be like a programming language?
It was open. It was open. Even though the academy is going to be fully based on Swift, even right now I met people from all various backgrounds. So it doesn't matter which exact programming language background you have.
So Irfan, now we'll jump on to the Revolut interview process. What was the interview process? How were the question difficulty, and what was the type of rounds you had?
Revolut was pretty much more like a conventional company interview, how it would go like. So after I applied with my CV, I got the OA link. OA was a hacker rank OA. Again, it had data structures questions, it had SQL questions. Now, again, as far as I understand, it is the OA that filters out most people. So once again, you have to be really on your toes with the OA on hacker rank. Now, after the hacker rank test, there was a few rounds of interviews, and every round is liable enough to kick you out. Have to again be very careful. First, I had a screening call with an HR where the HR looked into my profile, whether I'm suitable enough for that intern, because they were hiring for 2027 grads. They were hiring for people with like certain backgrounds and all. So it was just a screening based on my CV and all. After that screening call, I had a technical interview. Now, technical interview is one of the most important parts, I'd say. In the technical interview, it depends on what role are you applying for. Because I applied for the iOS development intern in their Rev Accelerator program. So for me, it was fully iOS. So I was mentioning this earlier too, Kushal. Like Revolut has kind of shifted from a only DSA hiring to a holistic form of hiring that checks you on your programming skill. Exactly. So for me, I had to share my Xcode IDE screen, and they went in and switched off all my AI tools and stuff. And they had a few core iOS based questions. It was like if you have done your SwiftUI part well, if you know how to do your API fetches and calls and all, it shouldn't be a big problem, but it would differ from which role you applied for. So if someone applied for a backend role, then it would be fully backend based, or if someone applied for a front-end role, it would be something like that. That is my best guess because I only gave the iOS interview, and for me it was a pure iOS technical challenge that they gave me. There were about 4 or 5 questions that I had to do, and after that you can expect like about a week to a week and a half time for the result of each round. Alright, and after this I had the HR round. They call the HR round as a team fit round, right? So the team fit round is generally with someone that is very high up in the company. For me, I had someone who was pretty much, you could call, the head of engineering, and so that itself was a little scary because you're talking to someone who is the head of engineering of such a big company, being a third year engineering student. So I was there, but I believe it's about staying calm and sounding confident. Yeah, they go through your CV, and what they want to see is Revolut has these 5 key, mottos or like values of the company. So they want to, So in this round, they want to see if your experiences, it could be the past internships you've done or the past projects you've done, do they reflect these 5 values or not? So someone who's smart would, align their answers to these values. So you have to kind of like pre-align your answers to it, and the HR goes through everything very well. This was something that I really liked about Revolut. They didn't leave me looking into a black box. They had told me what all I should prepare, what all kind of questions that they ask generally. And good amount of people on Reddit too have mentioned what kind of interviews happen, so that also helps out a lot.
That's a very good point. Actually, for any company that you apply for, make sure you do your proper research, because every company has the culture fit round where they expect you, and they also know that you'll prepare stories around their values. Just make sure your stories does not include too much of fake information. It should somewhat aligns with your work in the past, and you have to fit in, and you can use ChatGPT for it. You can share your experiences and align it with the company's values. So that is what Amazon has for leadership principles. Every other company has their own values and vision that they ask cultural fit questions on. Cool. Now moving on to the important part, how much money you will be getting from these internships? Like what is the stipend you're having? If you're open to tell, that will be great. If you can compare it, give some analogy, that will also be fine.
Okay. I'm not actually allowed to share the exact amount that Apple is giving over here, but I can tell you that it is enough for you to live by on your expenses in Bali, Indonesia. So it's not huge. I'll also tell you that. Don't think that it's Apple and they're gonna pay like crazy. But it's somewhere similar to the minimum wage यहाँ पे. And it will help you cover your rent, your food, and stuff. You have to cover your own travel, but it's a 10-month program, so you also have to look into that. Across these 10 months, you are gaining a lot of network, a lot of stuff. So you won't have to use up your savings, or you won't have to ask your parents for money for this. You can cover your own expenses. यहाँ पे Revolut is paying pretty well. They're paying according to their international standards in London and Dubai and all. Yeah, and they're paying pretty much how much a full-time software developer would earn in India at a good company, even for an intern. I could tell you that. I'm not very sure if I can share.
I'll ask everyone to, or I'll put a Lead Code Discuss article link of Revolut internship, Dubai internship stipend, and that will help you, or I'll add it in the comments somewhere. Okay.
Oh, perfect.
So last question to you, Irfan. You have been learning different things. You have cracked multiple internships. What have you felt about AI? Is it really impacting the market, or someone can get through it if they pick the right spots or hit the right spots?
Okay, I want to divide my answer into two parts. The first one thing I'd say that while I was learning too, AI can actually be a problem, because a lot of times when I was doing projects, I would GPT out things and just copy paste it. And what happens with this is I'm not exactly learning what is actually happening, and this is what I'm seeing across several students in campuses in India. So AI could become a big hurt on your programming skill with that. So that's something that you're not supposed to do. Another thing across the market is I don't think AI is becoming a problem. I'd say regarding the rest of the market, if you use it properly and if you find the right spots, you actually have a huge opportunity in front of you. Is what I'd say. But on your learning curve, if you would not use AI and rather try to get your hands dirty, that would help you a lot, because or else you'll have a lot of cool projects but you'll not know what's happening on the back.
That makes sense. That's a very good answer. Thanks a lot, Irfan, for your time. I really enjoyed the conversation. If anybody has any more questions, you are open to comment down below, and I'll share the contact details, the LinkedIn profile or Twitter profile of Irfan in the description itself. And if you have any questions for me, please feel free to drop by. Thanks a lot, Irfan, for your time.
All right. Thank you. Thank you, Kushal. Thank you so much.
I'll see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye. Take care.